Agents, you have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5, touchdown Bears!
Time in 6 seasons, it's 1 goal indeed. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the shows page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Like our shows page as well. And now you're following Shawn and Maya in the morning. También. That means also in Spanish. Okay? Now, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real? All right, listen. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, and also click the bell next to it. That's the notification button. That'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Listen, if you're watching us on our mobile app, yay. That's what I'm talking about, baby. I like it a lot. All right, we have an app. Wait, if you didn't know, come on now. What's wrong with you? We have a mobile app. So stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. So go to wherever it is that you get your apps from, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy's, Montgomery Ward, Venture, Woolworth, wherever you get them from. All right, you go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Yay. And listen, if you're watching us on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you didn't know, you better ask somebody. We have a Roku channel. We're live there, right, Mickey Ficky, now. All right, listen, go to Sports Zone Chicago. If you have a Roku device in the house, a Roku TV, go there, download the tile. Download Sports Zone Chicago's tile. Put it right next to Prime Video, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max. Actually, it's just Max now. Okay. Stars, Showtime, BET, whatever. Download it. Put us right smack dab in the middle of all of them. Please. Just do us that solid. Do us that favor. All right. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Well, here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram because you're an IGer and you do it just for the gram, well, just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Man, we have a phenomenal show for you today, man, but we need you to get interactive. So listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our mobile app, leave a question or comment on that platform. You can't do it through Roku, so make sure you have your phone or your tablet or your laptop next to you while you're watching this on Roku. But in the other three devices, other three platforms, all right, leave a question or comment on that platform. Right, it'll come up here in the thread, and we'll get it up here on the screen. And you know what? That's what makes this the best Chicago best morning Chicago sports show around. Is you. It's your questions, your comments, your smart ass remarks. Bring it, baby. We want all that smoke. We ain't scared. Ain't nobody scared over here. Okay? We want it all. Okay? We want it all. What's the song? I want it all, and I want it now. Just bring it, baby. Bring it. Don't sing it. Bring it. From The Rock. Hey, we have a great show, man. I'm fired up. Oh, you know what? That's crazy. I am fired up because we have our show today is dope. Man, so who do we have first? At 9:30, my guy, John Dietz from the Daily Herald, he's going to join us. And there's a little thing called the NHL draft going on tonight. I don't know if you can tell. I'm decked out on my Indian head. How is this? How is it not? People not get suspended? I don't know. Anyway, the Blackhawks. I got my ticket for tonight. The Blackhawk draft party over at the Salt Shed. You know, the one off of 9094, off the Kennedy. If you're heading toward O'Hare, it'll be on your right-hand side or the north side of the expressway. And it said, had the Salt, had the little girl with the, now I can't even think of the name of the brand. But anyway, it's in the Salt Shed. They've redone it. They've turned it into an entertainment venue. And so, yeah, it's going to be there. Blackhawks. So John Dietz is going to join us at 9:30 talking about that. And then at 10 o'clock, my man Lester Wiltfong Jr. Man, I can't. It's just, I know we're in a little hiatus right now. All right, I know it. The Mortons. There you go. Morton Salt. Thank you, Junior. But I'm jonesing. I'm jonesing for Bears talk. We still need. There's still free agency. There's still a lot of veteran edge rushers that are out there that need a home. So we're going to talk to Lester Wiltfong. Also, we're going to ask him a little bit about this whole Arlington Heights situation, the situation over there. All right, because it's just seems like it's politicking. I mean, I get it. All right, you got valued at 30-something mil before. Then it was like 160, 170. All right, for tax purposes, like you ain't trying to pay all that in taxes. I get it. And then now they're talking about they've had conversation with other cities, other municipalities about getting a stadium there, even in the city of Chicago. They're going to try and see if they can get a meeting together. How realistic it's going to be, yeah, I don't know. But we'll see. We're going to talk to Lester a little bit about that as well. So that, my friends, is what we have for today. Because I'm telling you, I'm fired up about it. It is. There we go. It's going to be must-see TV on how this situation gets rectified. And listen, that's why they brought in Kevin Warren. All right, that's exactly why they brought him in. Okay, he is familiar with these types of situations. Okay, he's making sure that he's putting the best interest of the club first. Oh, I don't know what that was about. Putting the best interest of the club first. So, and he's not messing around. He is not playing, and that's the thing that you have to realize. He's not playing. He's done this before. He understands, the art of negotiation. Let him do it. Let him cook, as people say nowadays. Let him cook. Let him cook. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'm looking forward to seeing, because what if, just spits and giggles, what if Bears actually were able to get back to Chicago? Just what if? I know it's highly unlikely. Okay, but what if? What if they were able to get a lakefront property? How dope would that be? How dope would that be? That'd be pretty dope. So, but again, there's a long way to go. I don't anticipate the Bears being in a new stadium 4 or 5 years from now. I just think there's just too much to do, and that's not even getting to the development, the building of it, the building of the new facility. It's not even there. I mean, there's so much. This is Chicago, and politics is a son of a gun. Politics is a son of a gun anywhere. However, it's especially a son of a gun here because everybody's always got their hand out. Everybody, and to get through all this, to get everybody satisfied, so the project can move forward, it's gonna take a lot of palm greasing, a lot of palm greasing, and some time. So, and again, the Bears don't have to move at any particular rate. All right, they still have a lease through what, another 10, 12 years? No. Yeah. At Soldier Field with the Park District, so they don't have to leave. And it would behoove them not to at this point. They have another 5 years because there's a penalty that they have to pay. Was it $9 million a year or something after that? If they leave, they still got to pay. So they're in no hurry. They're going to want to pay as little as possible. All right. They're not going to want to, because first they need a top-notch facility. And that's the issue. That's the thing. They have to get a top-notch stadium because think of all the stuff that's going on. Think of all the new stadiums that have been built. All right. So first of all, it has to be on par with those types of stadiums. But secondly, it's got to be ready to roll 365 because of the multitude of business opportunities that'll be there. But anyway, guys, listen, let's get right to it. Guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
The first top of the morning topic for today. Let's see which way we go. Which way do we go? Ah, yeah, the Cubs. They had a rough one. They fall to the Phillies 5-1. Jameson Taillon, he got the loss. He's 2-6 on the season. He went 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, a walk, 8 punch outs. Nico Horner, he was 1 for 4, driving in the only tally for the Cubs. His 40th of the season. Cody Bellinger, man, is continuing to make more and more money for himself as the year goes on. He was 2 for 4 with a double, his 11th. I've talked about it ad nauseum with various Cubs writers and bloggers and podcasters and just baseball podcasters as well. This guy's making himself a lot of money. This contract that he's going to be getting at the end of this season, whether it's from the Cubs or somebody else, it's going to be pretty hefty. You know what? I'm happy for him. More power to him. Okay, coming off an injury, he's able to one, contribute to a team, and he's contributing very, very highly to this Cubs team. But two, he's going to increase his market value. So for him, all power to you, Papa. Make that money. All right, keep playing baseball, keep enjoying, doing what you enjoy, doing what you love, and make that money. I ain't mad at you at all. The next top of the morning topics, the good guys. Yeah, that's a tough one. Good guys, that was a struggle. Big loss yesterday in Anaheim. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Oh, man, it was a pitching duo for a long time. And it's saying something about Kopech. The White Sox, like I said, they fall 4-2. And listen, Kopech, he got the loss. He's 3-7, 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 walks, 3 punch outs. But the crazy part about that is that he had about 100 pitches. He had about 100 pitches in those 4 innings. It was a struggle for him. it was a struggle for him yesterday. He had the bases loaded at one point, and he got out of it unscathed. And you look at that, and you're like, wow. See, Kopech is so good. Okay? Kopech is so good. He was able to get into a jam like that and get out of it. But he, along with the rest of this team, there's some mental issues going on with this team. I don't understand. It seemed to me like yesterday, and it just seemed like it. Seemed like he was in awe of Ohtani. It just seemed like he was. All right, he didn't have his best control, his best stuff. He seemed in awe of a guy. He seemed like a rookie who's up facing his childhood hero. That's what it seemed like. And don't get me wrong, he went after him. He struck him out. Struck him out nasty. Ohtani ended up on one knee and his left knee after a swing. Beautiful. But Ohtani touched him up. First at bat, he touched him up big time. So I don't know where to start with this team. Okay. So I guess I'm not going to go in too deep because we have other topics that we got to cover. But man, it's just, we all gave Tony La Russa grief last year, in 2 years, mostly last year. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it's not all him. Maybe we actually got to put the blame on the players. Crazy thought, huh? Maybe we got to put it on the front office because they have refused to bring a leader into this clubhouse. A talented leader. Can't put it on Grifol. Grifol's coming in, one hand tied behind his back. He's a rookie. No one's going to listen to him. So it's truly a frustrating situation. However, one thing which is not so frustrating, this guy that I'm on him a lot. Okay? And you guys know my favorite player is Yoan Moncada on this Chicago White Sox team. And some people have claimed that I don't give Yoan as much shit as I give this guy. I give this guy, that's not true. I seriously don't see that it's. I think Luis Robert is one of the best and most talented baseball players on the face of the earth. And this past week, he was on display. This is what he did. Luis Robert Jr. was the American League Player of the Week. It is awesome. It's awesome to see stuff like this. Awesome to see stuff like this because it shows you how talented this guy is. The disparity, the dichotomy with which this guy comes to the plate and swings the bat is the mind-boggling part. That is the mind-boggling part. Is that he'll come up, he'll hit a homer, hit 2 homers, double, single, whatever. And then the next at bat, he looks like a overmatched rookie. All right? There's got to be a level of consistency with him because the talent is there. The talent's there with Eloy. The talent's there with Yo-Yo. The talent's there with Tim. It's there with all of these guys. But the mental strength and the mental fortitude isn't. And that's my perspective, my opinion, that it's not. Because me personally, I see it. I see it's the void of consistency, the void of understanding and loving the process. Why were there so many first pitch swings last night, or why were there so many first pitch strikes? People were trying to see what he could throw. You know, and then right away after the first pitch, if he got a strike on you, now they're swinging right away. Take them deep in accounts. I think there's still a little too much awe of Ohtani by our team. And it's not to take away from his talent. It's not to take away from his ability as a pitcher, which is phenomenal, one of the best in the game, but go after him. You know, the problem is we missed so many pitches. There were a couple of pitches. Jake Berger missed one. He hung one to Jake Berger, missed it. Oh, he missed it. Gavin Sheets, he hung I want to say a slider to Gavin Sheets, and Gavin Sheets missed it. He fouled it off. Like, this is the thing that I talk about. If you're not focused every at bat, I don't care how good of a pitcher you are. I don't care how good of a game you're having. I don't care if you're throwing a no-no, if a no-hitter. I don't care if you're throwing a perfect game. There are going to be pitches that you should not have thrown. All right, you're going to hang one. You're going to hang a pitch. All 90, 100, 110 pitches that you throw aren't going to be exactly where you want them. And as a hitter, we have to hit mistakes, especially when you get a guy like Ohtani, who doesn't make very many of them. So when he makes 3 mistakes in a game, he pays on all 3. He pays on all 3. And I don't see a lot of going deep into counts with this team. I don't. And it's frustrating. Because you hear me talk about it all the time. All the time. Anyway. Next top of the morning topic. The Blackhawks made some news yesterday. They trade for former first-round pick and Hart Trophy winner Taylor Hall. For the Boston Celtics, they also included Nick Foligno, who's scheduled to become a free agent at the end of the season. Well, in a couple weeks. But they were able to get a deal done with Nick, and he's coming to stay here for a year, $4 million on the books. It might be an overpay, but you got the money. All right, where he goes next year, probably not going to be our concern. So now you have a couple of veteran guys, couple guys who can put the biscuit in the basket and light the lamp for our new center. All right, and that is this next top of the morning topic, and that's Connor Bedard. We talked about today. Today is the day of the NHL draft. The Chicago Blackhawks have the number 1 pick. It is all the haze in the barn, so to speak. The Blackhawks are going to end up taking Connor Bedard. He is the next generation. Every 4 or 5 years, there comes along one of these types of kids. And for you to be able to draft them, you are very, very fortunate. And the Blackhawks are very, very fortunate. The draft is down in Nashville. And what I really like, and it's very smart by the NHL stole a page from the NFL's playbook, where it's an event. How eventful was it back in the day? First of all, who cares about hockey? Hockey is probably the 3rd or 4th most famous or popular sport here in America. Okay, you have your fan bases, and they have their rabid fans. John. But hockey's not very popular. Okay? You got football. You got basketball. You got baseball. Then I think hockey comes in after baseball. So for him to get a city, and have the league on display in Nashville is awesome. Because it's cool. It gives you something to do. It gives fans something to do. Like, hey, listen, especially Blackhawks fans. There are so many Blackhawks fans down in Nashville. Tons of them. because a lot of them have been there partying before. So they know. But other fans from different fan bases can head down there as well. They saw what the NFL did with the NFL draft. Remember, it was here in Chicago 2 years in a row, the NFL draft. And it's an event. So the NHL made this, and HL did this, or made this an event. So you got barbecue, you got country music, bars. So you have it all down there. And this is the guy we're going to grab. This is the guy that's going to change the fortune of our franchise. 17-year-old Connor Bedard. The guy is a phenom. The guy is a freak of nature. This guy is extremely, extremely, extremely talented. And that's going to be ours. He's going to play for us. He's going to play for us. And I'm fired up about it. You see, I got my Blackhawks shirt today. I'm fired up. I got my new Blackhawks hat. So did I tell you the funny story about this hat? If you're watching. So my cousin's birthday, my cousin Charles' birthday was yesterday. But he had his party over the weekend. All right, so I went over there. And actually, I thought it was last week. I was getting ready to go. I brought the car out of the garage. I was going to bring Mom's. And for some reason, I said, let me just double check. I did, and it was the following week. It was this past weekend, not 2 weeks ago. So I had his gift the whole nine. But when I went to go get his gift, there's a Dick's outlet out here. And at the time, they were having a licensing sale. So all officially licensed gear was buy one, get one free. So I got him a Bears pullover, and then I got this hat. It was for free. I should have gave it to him because he's a huge Blackhawk fan. But I'm like, no, I like this one. Anyway, well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my man, John Dietz. All right, from the Daily Herald. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
walk-off double against Ohtani.
Vaughn batted.
There goes the runner. Throw down to second base is in time. Rengifo, who was traded for C.J. Cron, caught stealing.
Nice throw right here by Grandal. Looked like Elvis did a good job of shielding that base with his foot. Look at him put his foot. This is a little veteran move.
Fletcher batting. Wallach is running. The throw to second by Grandal, and Wallach is out. It was a hit and run, and Fletcher swung and missed.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Those are the good guys. And, yeah. Didn't do too well yesterday. Again, against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim of Orange County, Disneyland, whatever you want to call them, or whatever they're calling themselves these days. Gloom and doom on the south side, but you know what? There's sun. You know, this kind of reminds me of like the Addams Family or the Munsters, where you had just the cloud over their house. Well, that's how it is over on the south side, where the clouds are starting to dissipate on the west side for one team, because they damn sure ain't dissipated for the other team who plays in that building. That's for damn sure. But today's the NHL draft. It's tonight in Nashville, Tennessee. And as I said, there are tons of Blackhawk fans who've made the trek. And my next guest is a guy who's a good friend of the program. You know him. All right. He's been rocking with us over here for years. All right. And now he's at not only does he cover the Blackhawks for the Daily Herald, he's covered the Bears. I want to say Bulls. I'll ask him. But anyway, we got connected because he covered the Hawks, man. And I loved everything he taught. I love his perspective. I love, he's extremely entertaining. Good friend of mine. Now, you can find him on Twitter at JDietz, D-I-E-T-Z, JDietz Sports. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, our guy, John Dietz. John, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Shawn? I'm going to apologize right off the bat for my voice.
You shouldn't have pulled an all-nighter. You're not 25 anymore, buddy.
Telling him. We were at Wrigley yesterday. I think I was outside for like 9 hours, and it might have.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, my brother was completing a 7 ballpark tour.
Okay.
Other 6 were on the East Coast, and he stopped at Wrigley for his last one. Back where he was from. So yeah, we were outside a lot yesterday. I don't know if it's the wildfires or my wife always makes fun of me for whenever I talk too much, my voice goes to.
Well, we want you to talk, baby. You drinking some tea, coffee? What do you got there?
This is coffee. So
okay.
My sister's here. She told me to stand up. That maybe that'll help. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I have my tea here that I have every show. So, salute.
Yeah. Salute.
Well, speaking of good things that are going to happen tonight, barring something that's completely out of left field, the Blackhawks are expected to take the number 1 overall prospect, Connor Bedard. They made a move yesterday. Talk to me about that move that they made yesterday, the trade with Boston. Okay, getting a couple of veteran players to kind of go with this youngster, kind of lead, give him some veteran presence around. Talk to me, how much did you like that move yesterday?
Those are 2 days ago, right? I know.
Oh, was it 2 days ago? Damn.
Yeah, it's all right. So you're like me. Days all kind of run together.
Yes, they do.
There's no such thing as the weekend. There's no such thing as a Monday.
Especially since there's no Bears action, and the Sox
Right.
keep losing. So did they lose again yesterday? They lost yesterday too, and the day before, and the day before.
Yeah. No, the Hawks needed to add some salary. For those who don't know a lot about the NHL, there's this thing called the salary cap floor, which the Hawks were nowhere near. They need to get some salaries on their books to reach it. Right. So they brought aboard and the Bruins, when you have too much salary on your books, you're going to be over the cap, and so teams have to do things like this. So what the Hawks ended up doing was they traded Alec Regula and Ian Mitchell, 2 young defensemen, for Nick Foligno and Taylor Hall. And then they signed Foligno to a 1-year, $4 million deal. And Taylor Hall has 2 years left, $6 million each. So it really helps their salary cap position. It also brings aboard 2 really good veterans, who are, that's what they did last year, right? When they brought in Anthony Siu and Max Domi. Although in this case, I think, it'll be interesting. Taylor Hall's a really good player.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if he has the same kind of offensive season and overall season that Max did. Max had an amazing season. He was a great mentor for some of the young guys. So that's why they did it. They brought these two veterans in to add mentorship to obviously Connor Bedard, and all the young kids will be playing this year, or young men, I guess. We're old, Shawn, so they're all kids. So yeah, good move. And it's funny with Luke being the coach that he is, and the fact that they're bringing Bedard in, and some of the young guys are going to mature. This team could be better than, I'm not predicting any huge season, right? But they could be better than expected, especially
most people think. Yeah. You're not putting them in the Eastern Conference or Western Conference Finals, but you're just saying that they'll surprise a few people.
Yeah, and I think that surprised some people last year, right? I can't remember their point total last year, but it was like in the high 50s. But I don't know. They think they could get to maybe the high 60s this year or something like that. So, two good players, two good guys. I've heard really a lot of great things about Foligno. So, that's the kind of guy you need to bring in too. Just really, show guys how to go through 82 game seasons and all that kind of stuff.
Talk to me then about the culture, because to me, people, especially if you haven't played sports, but if people should get it, because we all had jobs, and for all intents and purposes before COVID, we all worked in an office, in a building, in a school, and such. So there was leadership. There was a culture that was set by the principal, by your supervisor, by the manager, whoever was in charge of us. The culture that the Blackhawks set last year was a good one. What you talked about, and it has nothing to do with wins and losses. All right, it's how you win and how you lose. The Blackhawks were in a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have been in. They won one or two that they probably shouldn't have won. They weren't blown out as much as they probably should have been with the lack of talent that they had. And that's from the head coach. And that is the attitude and the culture that he's set in the locker room. And now that he's added more talent with the trade 2 days ago, with the talent he's going to add this tonight. All right. Yeah, they are going to surprise a lot more people. And the same thing is similar to the team on the lakefront for now. All right. I say the same thing about them, but we'll stick with the Blackhawks. But talk to me about how important that culture is, because now that you're going to be adding some actual very talented players.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, the Hawks, I think we all know this, right? The NHL draft is much different than the NBA or the NFL. There's only one kid who's going to be playing in the NHL next year that the Blackhawks draft today, right? That's it. Connor Bedard's going to be playing in the NHL. Though the rest of these young men or young kids are going to be, we're going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road before you see any of them. But for Bedard and all the young guys that are coming up from last year, yeah, it's very important. You need, like I said, you need to show these kids how to, look at last year, right? You had Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Max Domi. You had Jake McCabe on the blue line, Seth Jones, just guys like that.
Respected veterans. Yeah, established veterans.
Right, exactly. They know how to go through a season. Jack Johnson also, right, from Colorado, who just won a Stanley Cup. So he had a bunch of guys who could show the young guys how to play. And then, Hawks fans, I think, to me, should be most excited about who their coach is. Luke really gets it. And you could tell from the exit interviews last year at the end of the year, especially Caleb Jones he said something like, I'm going to paraphrase here, but he said something like, our system is much more understandable than it was before. We really know what we're doing on the ice now. So that, it kind of throws Jeremy Collinson under the bus, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But Luke, and I'm like, when did you kind of know that it was going to be better? He's like, pretty much the first day of training camp. I have to go back and look at. I'm saving all these quotes for the next year because I want to do a kind of a profile piece on Luke. So I'm giving you some some key preview stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So the culture is set at the top, right? It's set. Obviously it's Kyle who brings in the players and you want to bring in the right players to set the culture, but it's also the coaching staff and the coach. So Luke has set a tremendous culture. He's also set up a system everybody understands. He also, we're going to play hard every night, and he's even keeled, and he doesn't lose his cool, which some coaches do, and it's fine. I guess, right? That's their style. But they understand how they need to play, and you're not going to have it every night, right? But they just get it. They get it through their coach, and they get it through the veterans. So it's a good mix. And it's going to still be a few years before you see the playoffs. But in the meantime, set the right culture, like you said, right?
Yeah, and that has you playing first and foremost fundamentally sound. Okay, and that alone, because when you get to that level, there's a lot of people who are extremely talented, and sometimes if you don't play, and this is all sports, all professional sports, if you don't play fundamentally sound ball, you have a chance to get beat. All right, despite your talents. All right, because if you're fundamentally sound, you're going to exploit the weaknesses or even the talents of people who are more talented than you. All right, so the fact that they're going to play fundamentally sound hockey, all right, in addition to the added talent, is very similar to what the Cubs are doing. All right, the culture was set last year with David Ross, despite the losses. Okay, and now, minus the little hiccup. I mean, and, people want to fire Ross after he lost one game, but the Cubs are back in it. The Cubs are literally back in it. They've got more talent. So I think this Blackhawk team is going to do a good number. Is going to do a number to surprise a lot of us and make us proud this first year. And I think the next year is going to be even better. And depending with all the draft picks. And that's where I want to go with the draft pick, seeing today is the draft. What do you expect them to do with because they have 2 first-round picks?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Do you foresee, because this is what I said, and I hope they do. I hope they pull a Houston Texans move. Okay, you got 11 draft picks in this draft, correct? You have a few more, 1 first round next year, and 2 or more second rounders next year as well. Package a couple of those bad boys up and jump back into the top 5.
No, not going to happen. Just stopping you right there. No.
Why not?
Because of GM. Yeah, I asked Kyle that exact question a couple days ago, or when I interviewed him.
See, that's why great minds think alike, John.
Well, and it's in my story today. And I said I talked about this with a couple baseball writers at a White Sox game I was covering, and they said exactly the same thing you just said. And I said, it's not the same. You can't compare the NFL draft to the NHL draft. You cannot do it. I mean, well, you could come up with some bizarre. His basic answer was, I can't even envision what it would take to move up that many spots. That was his answer. Because think about it the other way, Shawn. What would it take you if you had the 4th pick of the draft, or even the 5th, to move down to the 19th pick? He's like, I can't even fathom what that would take. Even as deep as this draft is, like, I'm not going that far down to pass up on a guy like Leo Carlson or Mitch Koff from Russia to go down to the 19th pick. There's too much crapshoot. What are you going to do? Give me next year's first round pick? And no, these guys, the very, very top of this draft is way too strong. And most years it is to move down 15 picks in any NHL draft. It's just too big of a move. So I get your pie in the sky theory there, but it just can't happen. Now, having said that, I do think they're going to move up. I just don't think it'll be that many spots. Something like 4 to 6, 7 maybe spots.
See, John, now you're getting me more excited. You know why? Because you can still get back up in there. Because if you move 5 spots, 6 spots, was it 19 that they're at? All right.
Not gonna happen.
And you get up to 12.
It's not going.
Now you can get someone who's at 4 or 5 from 12. You have picks.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Bless it.
Yeah. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take your capital to get to. It's already going to take your capital to get to up to 12 or 13 or 14, and then it's going to take you a ton. That's still a massive move, Shawn. Even from 12 or 13 or 14 to 4 in the NHL draft. If it happens, what's your favorite drink? What's your favorite drink, man? I'm buying you a case of it. Okay. If they get up in the top 5,
Tito's.
I'm buying you a case, whatever your favorite drink is.
Tito's. Nice big 4 half gallons of Tito's.
Yeah, okay. That's what you're getting. If they pull that off, I will immediately tweet it out too.
Oh man. So now what is it? What else does it do? The fact that we're getting Connor Bedard, the fact that we have a whole bunch of other picks. How likely is it that you're going to get some free agents, some veterans who say, "Hey, hold on, man, I might want to play with this young buck," or might not, or veterans might even be a young veteran. I mean, because guys started at 20, 21. They might only be 24, 25 and say, damn, I want to play with this guy over in Chicago because they're about to do some stuff in about 3 or 4 years. I think I may want to go there. How is him being drafted by us going to attract other free agents?
It's huge down the road. I don't know how huge it is this year.
Okay.
Because some of it is also that Davidson's not going to sign any free agents for more than a 2-year deal. I don't think. And that's what he's told us. And that's what he did last year. Okay. I just don't, because they don't want to get hamstrung into long contracts. They're not in that field right now. They're not in the, hey, we're going to go get the best free agent for 7 years.
Right. They're not there yet.
They're not there yet. It doesn't mean that, though, that what you just said could happen. Like a guy who's, well, I'm just going to go back to Domi or Athanasiou, both guys who wanted to sign deals that to prove themselves last year, and they didn't even have a guy like Bedard to play with, but they had Kane and Taves to play with. And they came to the Hawks because they knew they were going to get opportunity, right? And then if they proved themselves, they probably would get traded to another team. Now, you're talking about something else, though. You're talking about coming to the Hawks to stick around, and then a few years down the road, hey, with this Bedard kid and all this other stuff going on, and Korchinski from last year and all their other picks from last year, that, hey, yeah, in 5 years, 3 to 5 years, the Hawks are going to be big-time contenders. But, a lot of mid-range NHL guys don't have 3 to 5 years. I mean, the NHL, it's just kind of like an NFL running back or an NFL player, period, right? Their careers, just most guys aren't very long. Mm-hmm. You can look at a lot, there's a lot of guys with nice long careers.
Right.
But if you look at the main chunk of guys, you're right, the careers aren't very long.
Right.
Okay, so however, in 2 to 3 years, I'll call it 3. Let's call it 3 years. That's when Davidson's going to be like, okay, let's put the pedal down and let's go. Let's pour some gasoline on this fire. And just like
spend
you
some
said,
more money, get some some high price free agents.
So just like you said, right? Okay, now we're talking. Okay, hey, there's a Marian Hossa guy available, right? Let's go get just like they did back then when in 2009 when they brought Hossa in. There'll be things like that happening. Definitely. I mean, it's just like, remember, it's like go back to the Bulls in the 90s. Oh my God, we could go win a championship with Michael Jordan. Yes, I'm going to go sign there. Right. And that's the truth with all teams around the league, right? I think guys want the most money they can get. Agents sometimes get in the way. And I've talked about that with a lot of writers, that agents get in the way with a lot of times. Like, oh, you can get another $1 million here. Well, yeah, but I can win a cup there. It's like, I want to win
what they really should be saying is we could get another $1 million here. Because that's more my commission, my percentage.
That's what the agents think all the time. And the NHL's we won't get too deep into the weeds, but there are some definite advantages to having teams in certain areas of the country, right? I mean, the Hawks you deal with a state tax of 5%, but in Florida or in California, and I'll go to California and Canada, you got massive taxes. But in Florida, you got nothing.
No state tax. Yeah.
Got nothing. Yeah. So those are little things that, like Stamkos didn't sign. He would have had to sign for a lot more money in a different state than he did down in Florida. So anyway,
most people don't realize that, John, that there still is a life factor, a real life factor in professional sports, and then not only that is that you still get taxed when you go on the road. So you're going to want to say, hey, I'm going to want to stay in a place within a state like Florida, because for 41 games, I don't have to pay state tax. Now, when I go out to Illinois, I pay the Blackhawks, I go to New York to play the Islanders or the Rangers, or now and people don't realize that there's tax you got to pay because you've earned money in their particular state. So, and then you go to Canada, that's even crazier. So yeah, there's a lot of people that people have to, have to realize that they don't realize, because they've not privy to that information because no one ever cares to talk about it. So,
right.
Again, we're doing.
Sorry.
Let me give it. Quick break. We're joined by John Dietz from the Daily Herald, talking Blackhawk hockey right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Anything you see? Do you think if the Blackhawks do trade up, what would they be going after? A forward? Would they be going after a defenseman?
Well, I asked Davidson this question too, and he said, I said, what's your draft philosophy? And he said, always best player available. Always. He said, you have every other day of the year to manipulate your reserve list. And these are the 2 days you have to find the players who are going to make the NHL. What's the point of drafting a guy? And let's just go to a little bit deeper in the draft. In the 3rd or 4th round, and our best guy on the board is a forward. We already took 6 forwards. We can't take another forward. He's like, no, we're taking that forward, because we want we can go get backup defenseman and so on. We can fill that reserve list any other way. If this forward is much better than the other defenseman that's on there, we're taking that guy. But anyway, to your point, if I had to predict, which I did in my story today, I think they will trade up a few spots, and yes, they will take a winger, a high-scoring winger. Now, there's a whole bunch of kids who I wrote about today who could be. It depends on how all these other teams value these guys, right? And so I think we'll keep an eye on who they take, And I think it, because think about it, like let's say they move up to 14 or 15, just to pick a number, and they stay at 19. Those are nice high picks in the NHL draft. I'm gonna guess in 2 years that kid is playing for the Hawks, and if they got the right guy, and he's a big time high scoring winger, and now you got him with Bedard, I mean, wow, right? So you're.
So he'd be developing his skills.
And then you got Lucas Reichel.
Yeah.
You got a hell of a top line now. So
yeah,
you need defensemen and stuff. And then you got Korchinski, who you drafted last year, Sam Rinzel, who you drafted last year, both great. Well, theoretically going to be great defensemen. So now your team's kind of coming together. So that's my prediction, man. I think I'm going winger.
Okay, yeah, because then that makes sense because the kid's going to be developing his skills, and if he's a high power scorer in the juniors or in the AHL, and now he's got and that's the one thing you want confidence. So when he's ready to step. Because if he's a high-scoring winger, he's going to be ready to take a step to the next, up at the next level. He's ready. He's anxious. And then as Bedard matures, and Bedard, this guy is amazing. Now his winger is going to be excited to play with Bedard, who's maturing. It's going to be quite interesting. And man, I've seen a heck of a lot more. Reserve your suites for this season at the United Center. A lot more ads on Facebook and then for the Blackhawks because they know. The excitement around this kid is awesome, and I just really hope he lives up to the hype and really brings this franchise and this fan base back to respectability and then some because those 5 or 6 years were just insane. I don't know if they're up there with the Bulls. I want to put them that far, but it was just good to be repeat every year. No, the question was never if we're going to make the playoffs. The question is how far. Are we going to make the playoffs? Is this another year for a cup or not? And that was fun for those 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, they always tried to extend. While McDonough was there, they were trying to extend the length of, how long the run could go on for, and they extended it for too long. You go back to the Seabrook contract; it pretty much starts right there, and then Bowman is making a bunch of bad moves and things like that. So, now they are where they should have been. You don't want to be. I love Davidson's comment. He goes, you don't want to be in the messy middle. The Hawks were in the messy middle for too long, just trying to make the playoffs and just not making it, not having the team around the players, they're just an average team. And that's the messy middle. You don't want to be in the messy middle in sports. Just rebuild like they are rebuilding or be at the top and going for championships.
One extreme or the other. Hey, John, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Where are you watching the draft at tonight? You going to the Salt Shed? Or you going to what are you doing?
I was going to go to the Salt Shed, to be honest, and then I think I need to be at home just because the distractions down there. There's a little bit of issue with possible Wi-Fi issues and things you guys don't care about, but I can't be down there, and then the concentration issue, right? I mean, you got to kind of be zoned in and things like that, and if I'm not zoned in, and I don't know if they have a great writing place down there and all blah blah blah. So don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll be probably home checking things out. I wish I was in Nashville, to be honest, but I'm not going to get into those. I'm not going to get into that stuff right
here. Hey, John, man, great stuff, and man, I'm looking forward to tonight seeing who else we get and what other moves we make. So it's going to really change the fortunes of this franchise, and it's going to be good to have the Blackhawks back, the Madhouse on Madison rocking when the Hawks are playing pretty soon.
Yeah, and tomorrow will be interesting too. A lot of picks. They have a lot of picks tomorrow. So that tomorrow, for those of you interested, the draft starts at 11 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. So first hour of that draft is going to be very interesting for Hawks fans again, because right now they have 4 picks in the second round. That probably will change tonight, but they'll probably have 3 or 4 picks tomorrow just in the second round. So that'll be interesting.
Good stuff, John. We'll talk soon, Papa. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, bud. You too.
All right, bud. Guys, that's John Dietz from the Daily Herald. Joining us, man. Great stuff, my man, John Dietz. And, man, he shot that down quick. Man, I didn't even get to pull it to finish the statement. He's like, stop it, stop it. I'm like, come on, man. They can't trade up. I still think, call me crazy, you may be able to make 2 jumps. Jump to 10 or 11, then if you get to 10, jump to 6. You have a first-round pick this year, an extra first-round pick. You got 4 second-rounders this year. You got a first-round pick next year. Maybe not trade the first round. That's why I'm saying make that jump. Give your first round this year, 2 seconds this year, a second and a third next year. There are teams that might do it. And I know John said that it's top heavy this draft, so a lot of teams may not want to trade out. But if you get more picks next year, I don't know. I trust John. I do. I'm just trying to see if I can find a way to get it done, get that done. I'm trying to see if I can find a way to get, even if it's top 10, the number 8th pick or number 9th pick, or even the 10th pick. All right, get back up there, get 2 studs. But we'll see. I hope so. And he said he's going to buy me a case of Tito's. You heard him. We have it here live. All right, he's going to buy me a case of Tito's if they do jump back up in, say, the top 10. Oh, that'd be great. Me have Tito's for a long time. Hey, listen, let's take a quick break. On the other side of the break, what we're going to do, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk to our guy, Lester Wilfong Jr. We're going to talk to him, talk a little Bears football. I'm excited. I am excited. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Off the fake. Fields against the grain. Finds Jesse James. Field. With time. Delivers down the field. Made one way. Fields stumbling. Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Everybody in a work zone is someone's somebody.
This is my mom. She works for KDOT.
This is my dad.
This is my mom.
This is my daddy.
This is my sister.
This is my daddy.
This is my son, Scott. He was killed while working in a highway work zone. When you drive through a work zone, drive like a life depends on it. Because it does.
Order up. When I want to give up, I try to focus on getting to the next minute, then the next hour, and the next day.
It might not seem like it right now, but there are people out there like me who want to listen and support you for the long haul.
And I found someone to talk to, someone who listened.
You are not alone.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Allen stands in, throws far side, intercepted, picked off by Kyler Gordon. Gorlin up the sideline, still on his feet, coming back across, and now down at about the 35-yard line. Lost the ball. Allen one on the boundary. He looks left. Now he's going to run it out and get creamed at the 2.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of CBS Sports. Dude, that's just that 30-second clip just made the hairs on my arm stand up. That 30-second clip. It wasn't even a great clip. It wasn't Justin Fields running away from everybody. Just that whole thing got me excited. I am excited to continue House Music Monday, even though it's Hump Day. Man, it cannot get here fast enough. July 25th, which is my birthday, but it's also the day that players report back to camp. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a season that most people won't believe. They think I'm crazy. And I'll show you who's crazy, damn it. I know my football. I do. And I want to talk about it with my next guest. Man, this guy, he and I have been rocking together for years, and I love it. I love having him on. He's the head honcho over there. He is the EIC, the editor-in-chief over there at Windy City Gridiron. He's a good friend of the program. You can find him on Twitter at Wiltfong, WILTFONG, Wiltfong Jr. You can find him on Twitter at Wiltfong Jr. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, our guy, Lester Wiltfong Jr. Lester, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
What's happening, brother? How you doing?
Man, I am happy as a pig in slop. I'm excited about my Blackhawks today. I got my little
big day.
You're ready? I'm fired up, baby. I think I'm gonna head to the salt shed down on Clybourne. I got my tickets already. They're free, but I got them. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. Now another team is gonna be moving in the right direction. Yeah. Right. Not just like our Bears are moving in the right direction. How excited are you? Or how annoyed are you right now? Because it's the dead time. I mean, we had about 6 weeks between end of OTAs, mandatory OTAs, the training camp. How are you buying this time? Are you making you're getting cool points with the misses or how you do? Because that's probably the best thing to do. Because once football season starts, it's a track meet.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the dead time, but the nice thing about the NFL is they space everything out. So pretty much it's 12 months a year. There's NFL news. This period we're in right now is, it's a little dead, but this is when a lot of the national analysts will start popping off some of their lists. We'll get the top 100. We'll start seeing the predictions for the all rookie team. Some content creators can dive into some analytics and kind of, do some more creative stuff. So, there's always something going on, especially with us at the site. I mean, there's something the same with you guys. I mean, you're still talking Bears. I mean, it's the end of June, the dead period, but here we are, man. We're all passionate fans. We all still want to talk about the Chicago Bears.
Man, we do. And funny you mentioned it. I'm thinking about adding another show, just talking Bears, just because I love it, dude. I can't, and I just worked the DJ Moore camp this past weekend, and, I was excited. I was fanboy excited, but not because he's an NFL player. I mean, I was a former professional player. I partied with tons of Bears players back in the day. I was excited like a fanboy because this is our number one. This is the number one receiver. I'm like, do you realize you're number one Mickey Ficky receiver, dude? Do you know that? Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are, dude? And because it's one of the biggest pieces that we needed on this offense. Of course, we needed protection. That goes without saying, right? But the fact that, when shit hits the fan, I need my number one receiver to come get it. And yes, we got one. We got one. Now, some may argue he's not in the top tier. I don't give a shit. All right. You could argue what you want. He might not be in the top tier because he didn't have a legit quarterback to throw him for the last 5 years. Now he's got a legit quarterback. And the thing that gets me excited is what these two can do together. The kid's 25, he's going to be 26. All right. Justin's 24, 25? Yeah, 24. They're right around the same age. So these two can grow together for the next 6 to 8 years. Come on, man. This is going to be one hell of a thing. How excited are you what are you going to do the first touchdown pass that he throws to DJ Moore?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's like you said, it's just having that legit number one receiver. It's going to open up the entire offense. It's cool to see when we've seen it throughout the years. We've seen it with Brown in Philly. We've seen it with Diggs in Buffalo. There are teams that go out and get their guy to help their quarterback. I mean, this franchise is all in on Justin Fields. So that's going to be an exciting time seeing those two connect for the first time in a real game action. Of course, training camp's going to come here. We'll all be there, and we'll be excited to see that connection build, during that time in camp. But, man, preseason, moving on to the regular season, seeing that real connection, seeing exactly what he can do. I mean, as fans, we haven't seen this in Chicago in a long time.
No, we haven't. And my guy Cornelius wants to know, do you think – it's good, very good question, Cornelius. Do you think the Bears have enough O-line depth?
Yeah. I mean, there is no team that really feels comfortable with their depth, top and down on the O-line, because those five guys have to work together. They build a continuity within each other. They're a team within a team. So it would suck if they got some injuries. I know there's been a lot of stuff said about Lucas Patrick as his season last year, but man, this guy was hurt the entire season pretty much, and then he ended up going on IR. I think he's a capable backup. I'm fine with him in the backup role, as long as he's healthy, obviously. But besides that, I mean, there are some question marks. Ja'Tyre Carter seems like he's going to be one of the other guards coming off the bench. There's been some rumblings that he may be working a little bit at center too. He could be a guy that's maybe another year away, but the Bears love him. I mean, they kept him on the 53 the entire season last year, so they must see something in him. They see some a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, with him. But after that, I mean, there's some question marks. It's just hopefully they stay healthy with Jenkins. Braxton Jones takes that step. Whitehair's got to stay healthy again, but the depth is a little concerning. But hey, it's training camps coming up. They still may make a move here in the next few weeks.
We haven't addressed the edge rusher situation. Didn't get in the draft. Didn't get a 3-tech in the draft. Talk to me. What are you thinking? There's a lot of people out there. I just saw a list the other day of the people still out there in free agency. Many of them are. Here we go. Many of them are edge rushers. Who's choose? I'm trying to think. Like Matt Ioannidis. That's crazy. Dwayne Smoot, Ndamukong Suh, Carlos Dunlap. These are just names of some people who are out there. Yannick Ngakoue, that name we know. Jadeveon Clowney. So how soon do you think that before the Bears get involved in that mix? Because they're going to have to, even if it's for a 1-year flyer. How soon do you think before the Bears get involved and sign an edge rusher?
Well, they've been talking about it, this whole offseason. Whenever they've had Coach Flus, whenever they have Brian Poles, whenever they've had a press conference, they're asked the question, what about edge? And they say the same thing. Poles referenced a trade at one point. Coach Flus mentioned, picking up a guy at some point. So I think they're looking. I think they're talking to teams. I think they're looking for free agents. But I think the free agency market, some of these guys, man, they may want to be holding off for a better opportunity. I think some of these guys are veterans. The money may not be the top thing to look for. They're looking for a championship contender. And while we want to see the Bears legit contending for a championship, this may not be the year in their eyes. There's a 3-win team from a year ago. So guys like a guy like Justin Houston, for example, who's on the market, he may be looking for a ring. So maybe he's holding out. Same with a guy like Clowney. Maybe he's looking for a ring. So as the weeks go on and these guys still remain unsigned and the top contending teams aren't reaching out to them, maybe one of them now will end up in Chicago.
Just about to say, does their price tag go down? 2 questions. So does the price tag go down if the longer they wait, or are they just waiting because they just don't want to be in OTAs? They're like, you know what, bump it. I don't feel like doing this shit. I'll just sign. I'm an edge rusher, dude. What do you need? What part of your scheme do I need to learn? Go get the quarterback. All right, that's my job. Go around this big mountain of a man, 300+ pound of a man, whoever he is, and go get the quarterback. All right. It's not for me. At that point, it's not rocket science. Like, you have a gig. What am I going to do? How many guys you think are probably just veterans just saying, hey, you know what? Wait till training camp and we sign a week or two beforehand and go that way.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the best way, especially with the Bears. I mean, they're not looking for a guy to come in and play, a ton of snaps. They're looking for a guy to come in, like you said, rush the quarterback. They want a designated pass rusher. They want a specialist, and those guys can come in with a few weeks left in camp, as long as they stay in shape. And these days, all these guys are pro athletes. These guys train, all year round. They're in shape. They got to get in football shape, sure, but it won't take them very long. I mean, at some point, they're going to sign. They're going to bring in someone. You know what? And maybe it's just not in the cards for the Bears this year. I know they have a ton of cap space still. They like to do something, but they did throw a bunch of bodies at the D line. There is no legitimate speed rusher off the edge, but maybe they're comfortable with the guy like Walker, making a big step this year. He had a career year last year with the Titans. They brought him in. Maybe they're content with a guy like Travis Gibson bouncing back. Maybe they think a guy like Dominic Robinson, who has great athleticism, in year 2 in the scheme, year 2 as a pro, another year as an edge, maybe they believe in him. I mean, who knows until we get things started here, but I do think at some point they got to add a guy just because, the money's there. It'd be nice to have another vet come in kind of with this young group. So we'll see what happens in training camp.
Yeah, you know what? And we're joined by Lester Wilfong Jr. He is the editor-in-chief of Windy City Gridiron, and we're talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. You know, when people they talk about, like you said, guys may want a winner, a contender. Why not go after a team that's going to contend in 2 years? All right, like the Bears. Like people when people said Yannick Ngakoue, he's not coming here. I'm like, well, why wouldn't he? People don't think the Bears are going to be contenders next year. You know what I mean? Like, does it have to be this year? You know what I mean? It has to be this year, otherwise I'm done. I think if you're a a quality pass rusher or middle of the road like Yannick Ngakoue, all right, get a 2-year deal or hell, even a 3-year deal. You know, you avoid the last year of the deal, whatever, get all your money up front, whatever. 2 years, I think next year in the 2024 season, the Bears are going to be pretty high of favorites, odds-on favorites to come out of the NFC. So you're in a championship window, and it's just not 23. It'll just be 24. And then also now you're coming back with the same guys. You're coming back a lot more continuity, a lot more of the personal stuff. Like you don't know you're not going to have to worry about where the practice field is or how to get home from the practice field. You're going to know where to go eat. You're going to know where to take your girl. You're going to know where to take your kids. Like all that stuff that people don't realize is still part of life still happens. It has to be figured out by pro athletes when they move to a new spot.
Yeah, a guy like Ngakoue, he's a little younger. I think he's 28, 29. So a 2 or 3 year deal may make sense with a guy like him. Some of the other vets, though, I mean, they're in their 30s. You know,
right.
They're just looking for like I said, they're mercenaries looking for a 1-year flyer. Plus, another part of this process is, you know, next year's draft class at edge, next year's free agent class at edge. You know, I haven't really looked too deep into it. From what I understand from talking to a few guys, the edge class in the draft is pretty good next year.
Yes,
so the Bears may be comfortable there. Free agency, you know, who knows how things shake up. It always changes when guys get re-signed. But, you know, this is a process, like you said, from Ryan Poles, you know, and yes, he can't address everything in one offseason. Maybe his plan is, okay, we'll buy this year and really attack edge next offseason. And, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, that's fine because this was never a 1-year rebuild. You know, I think the team is on a good path right now. I would love to see a speedy edge come in and get after the quarterback, but you know, if it's not in the cards, we'll see what the guys they have can do.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? It's not a 1-year fix. And I think that's the best part about it is that it's not a 1-year fix. Like Ryan Poles is looking at this as like a 8-year plan. Like we're going to get guys, we're going to bring in competition. Because talk to me about the way he's insulated that. All right, he's got guys who, if the starters or projected starters aren't here next year, well, guess what? We have guys who can fill in. They just signed Scott, the wide receiver. And we know Claypool and Mooney are both free agents. So if one of them doesn't show out this year or one of them has crazy contract demands, well, after the season's over, well, guess what? Now you got a guy that you know who can kind of do what they do. All right, just seems a little more explosive. Defensive back, you got the kid out of Minnesota, in addition to the kid out of Miami, Tyreek Stevenson. All right, so in case we can't get Jalen Johnson, well, guess what? Now you got to talk to me how he's done that in every single room, running back room, D-line room. Tell me how important that is because it also means there's competition to start as well.
And that's one thing Ryan Poles has done with his drafts. And you know, he's kind of went, you know, we always hear him say best player available philosophy. He seems to kind of have done that. Yeah, he may have got a guy at a need with his first pick this year and Darrell Wright, but they needed a right tackle, but he was also the best player available on the board at that time. So it's not like they're reaching for picks. You know, they're kind of letting the board come to them. And you mentioned the secondary. Yeah, they have addressed it. You know, they've picked you know, 4 or 5 guys in the last couple of years in the draft. So there's some depth there, which is nice. It's a long haul. You know, they're building things up. And, you know, if Mooney and Claypool, I mean, there's money to go around if they both ball out. But, you know, the odds are them bringing both back is kind of slim, especially with the pick of Scott here. So we'll see how it shakes up. But I like the way the roster is being constructed. I was a little iffy on Ryan Poles' plan last year. Some of the guys kind of he let go in free agency. Some guys he didn't want to bring back, but you know, it's coming into fruition. We're kind of seeing what he wants to do here, and he really laid the foundation, you know, this year for the future. Plus the trade with DJ Moore, man, he has draft picks. He has 2 first rounders next year. He has picks through 2025 because of the DJ Moore deal. So he has some ammunition there too.
Do you see the Bears next season? Okay, look in your crystal ball over there when you see the gridiron. Do you see the Bears doing a Houston Texans move next year? They'll have 2 first-round picks. People don't anticipate Carolina being a a very good team this year, all right, with their 5'2" new quarterback, all right. We have a second first-round pick. Can you envision the Bears jumping back up into the top 10 or top 5, saying, "Hey, here's a first-round pick, or a second first-round pick. We'll give you a couple. Our second first-round pick. We'll give you some second-round picks as well to jump up and grab." You said the edge class was crazy. Well, what if they find a 3-tech and an edge? Could you see the Bears possibly doing something like that next year? And now we're talking all these studs, except for like Eddie Jackson. All these studs are like 25 and under.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the season plays out, but yeah, that's definitely an opportunity. That's part of the DJ Moore trade, is they gave them all those additional draft picks. Ryan Poles is pretty smart. The trade back to get right. They picked up a 4th-round pick. There are going to be some comp picks on the market for the Bears here within the next couple of years if things go as they anticipate. So a lot of draft picks, a lot of capital they can do. And if this season goes as they plan, and there's a big improvement. I mean, this was a 3-win team last year. So if they jump up to 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 wins this season,
10.
And there you go, 10. And they see the path, they see the future, they see that the next season will be really good there. So that's what good franchises do. They see the trajectory of the team. They have the draft capital. Now let's go make a big splash in the draft and let's move up and get our guy.
I'm really, really happy with, again, the way he's constructed it. I'm really, really happy with the players that he got. Okay. I'm talk to me a little bit more about the offense, the running back room. How excited are you about that room?
Yeah, that's a fun group. I was a fan of David Montgomery. I would have liked to see the Bears re-sign him, but in the same token, I understand why they let him go. I mean, he got a nice deal with the Lions. They brought in Deonta Foreman, who had a fantastic season last year. He I think 900 some yards in the last 10 games. When the Panthers traded McCaffrey, he kind of stepped in and assumed that role. It was a bad team. It was a bad team last year, and everyone knew he was getting the ball, and he still produced. A guy like Roschon Johnson in the draft, kind of do-it-all guy. He at some point, because he has the all-around skill set, he may take over as lead back. It may not happen this year, because you also have Khalil Herbert, really explosive. He led all tailbacks last year with average yards per carry. So it's a stacked running back room. I haven't mentioned Travis Homer, who the Bears brought in, who they envision with a 3rd down role. Yeah, he's more of a special teams guy. But in Seattle, his pass pro was top notch. That's why, he was Pete Carroll's, designated, pass blocker in those situations, because they trust him. He understands blitz pickup. That's one area Khalil Herbert's working on. So the running back room as a whole, man, there's a lot of talent there. And I don't anticipate the Bears running game to take a step back at all this season.
I don't either. I'm looking forward to actually being better, because you have a 3-headed monster, actually a 4-headed monster, because we have, and not even including Justin Fields. And when Justin Fields, when it breaks down and he's forced to run, and I think that's going to make him even more dangerous, because of the fact that one or two things. As long as they continue to pound the rock, which they have a lot of great guys with nasty demeanors. All right, Darnell Wright is one of them. Okay, nasty Nate Davis. Dude, the bird just hit my window. That's funny. Nasty Nate Davis. All right. And we all know how Tevin Jenkins is. We had to reel him in, like, stop taking the dude to the 3rd row, bro. Sideline is fine. 3rd row is a little too much. So I think it's going to be phenomenal. So now what do? Do you bring down an extra safety in the box to stop this run, or and let Justin and Cole Kmet eat big time, because that's going to be huge for him if they have a safety down there, or behind them you'll have EQ St. Brown or Claypool or Mooney or Scott even, or do you put him back because you're scared of that and then let Justin run? It just opens up different things, this run game, and for Justin Fields to do and to watch this guy, to anticipate what he's going to do. To me, it's got me so excited, because the person I'd love to be right now would be the offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy. Yeah. You have to have just drawing stuff out. You have to be drawing Madden type shit right now with the type of talent that you have at quarterback, running back, tight end.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with the running game, yeah, it sets up play action, obviously, but I'm excited to see a little more zone reads. I don't think they're going to call as many run plays for Justin Fields designated
Oh, I
runs,
don't. Yeah, I think I
some
agree.
nice zone reads to really stress the edge, let him give or take, and also some more RPOs. I mean, Luke Getsy, he was schooled in the RPOs stuff from when he was in college, so we didn't see a ton of that last season, but I think year 2 in the offense, he'll open things up. Some more RPOs. I mean, look, if you're a defensive guy and you're that linebacker or the guy that's in conflict, and Justin Fields is there with the ball in his hands, do you step up? Do you step back? What do you do? Justin Fields is such a threat that him himself opens up so many passing lanes, so many running lanes, and now the Bears have some talent. They have DJ Moore. They have some guys. They have Chase Claypool, who we didn't see much of last year, but he's a big body receiver. He can run those slants. He can box out a defender and make those plays. And then, of course, you talk about the running backs. Running lanes be open. So it's going to be an exciting time with the Bears offense taking that next step. Year 2, Luke Getsy. Year 2 in the same scheme with Justin Fields. More talent, a revamped O-line. So it's exciting.
Exciting is an understatement, Lester, and I'm fired up about it. I'm telling you, just thinking about it, I can tell you, working at DJ Moore camp, and it was crazy because his daughter was in my group. So we had little groups, like 3 or 4 or 5 players in your group, and he was just walking down the field with her daughter, and she looked at me and she smiled, and I smiled back, said, "Hi, princess," and she's like, "Daddy, I want to be in this group." She's like, "You want to be in this group?" He's like, "Yeah." So I was like, "All right." I was like, "Well, then sit down, young lady. Sit down like everybody else." And just seeing him and talking like he's a really nice dude. And again, I was just like, this is the dude who's going to take us out of wide receiver hell that we've been in. You know what I mean? It was so cool to see that the way it was addressed. And now that I got to meet him and talk to him, like I'm really, really fired up about him and this whole offense. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Defensively, you talked about all the bodies. There's no real big name splash. There's no Jalen Carter because they stayed away from him for whatever reason. But they did get a lot of talented guys on that defensive line. Talk to me about what you think, how you think this defensive line is gonna produce this year with a lot of younger, some free agents, but also some younger, talented, hungry guys.
Yeah, I like what the interior, what they've done with the interior. A guy like Andrew Billings is coming over as a free agent. Big body guy. He kind of reminds me from the body type from Spice back in the day.
Adams.
Anthony Adams. Just a big body guy. He has a good athletic first step. He's not going to get a ton of sacks for you, but the fact that he's in the middle there, man, in that nose tackle spot, he may draw some double teams. You have the rookie Dexter, who all indications about training camp is he looks fantastic. I know a lot of scouts were talking about, a lot of guys on the internet saying, "Oh, he has a terrible first step. He's terrible." But that was a scheme thing that the Bears addressed, and he kind of talked about as well. And we haven't heard anything about that in training camp. We're hearing about him being explosive. And then a guy like DeMarcus Walker, man. I mean, he's been sharing all these videos online on social media, and he looks like he's the real deal, man. I can't wait to see him in pads and see what he does now that he's in this scheme, because this is like his 4th team in 4 years. Bounced around quite a bit. He's played some 3-4, played some 5 tech, played some nose, been all over that D line, but now he's kind of in a role where he's a 4-3 defensive end. They may kick him inside on occasion, but I think him having a defined role, him having a nice contract, he understands he'll be here for a while. He can kind of set some roots here, and I'm excited to see him grow. And I mentioned a guy like Dominic Robinson earlier. He flashed last year early, and then he kind of disappeared. But the talent's there, so let's see what he does. And like I said, there's some talent here. Just all has to come together.
The linebacking core was drastically upgraded with the sign of Tremaine Edmonds and BJ Edwards. In addition to the holdover of the Jack Sanborn. Then they also drafted Noah Sewell. Talk to me about that group. How do you see it playing out? Obviously, Edmonds and Edwards are going to be the starters. You don't sign 2 linebackers for $100 million and say you're coming off the bench. But what happens to the jackhammer? And what about Noah Sewell? Noah Sewell is one of those guys who just always is around the ball. Yeah. Not the fastest dude, but he hustles. I think I told you that he's the guy that you don't cut back on once too many, all right? Because he's coming to ear hole you, and he's going through your ear, and He's coming from a good football family, so he's got football in his blood. How do we get all 4 linebackers out there playing, or do we, or who switches, who alternates? How do you see that situation playing out?
Yeah, it's obviously the 2 free agents are going to start there. Then who starts at the Sam is probably the big question at camp. Jack Sanborn has kind of been nursing injuries, kind of hasn't done much this offseason, which has been a chance for Noah Sewell to kind of get some starter reps there. Plus, they also brought over Dylan Cole, I believe it was, from the Titans, who has a lot of experience there. So I think they'll be fine at the Sam. I know a lot of Bears fans, they fell in love with Jack Sanborn last season because of what he did. He kind of came in out of nowhere, undrafted free agent, local kid. Obviously, that makes it a much more special to kind of see him thrive in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to play them all, man. I think they're going to get them all out there. Obviously, this team will run a ton of nickel. So there's going to be only 2 linebackers on the field at any time. But, when they are in that base, you're probably going to see some Sewell, you're going to see some Sanborn, and kind of let them go. I think this linebacker group, because of all the additions they made, overall maybe the strongest group on the entire team as far as what they brought in. With a guy like Edmonds and Edwards, with Edwards, he was in the cusp of the Pro Bowl last year. Edmonds, he's already had a couple Pro Bowls under his belt. These guys give the Bears what they need. It's not the Tampa 2 that we grew up with Lovey. It's a similar scheme. And those 2 spots, the Will and the Mike, are very important. And we just didn't see everyone fit into the role last year. Now, Coach Flus and DC Allen Williams, they have the guys they want in those spots. And I think we're going to see a really exciting linebacker unit here for the Bears. Again, it comes down to the pass rush, though, man. If they can't get after the quarterback, it's going to be tough for that defense. But I think the pieces are there. We'll see how they all come together.
So how improved do you think this pass rush will be? Like I'm not putting them on the, next to the 85 Bears or the Purple People Eaters or anyone like that. But I think the upgrade is there because, keeping it real, dude, that shit was horrible. It can't get any worse last year. The great part about that to me is like the DBs were making plays. The DBs were making plays without a pass rush. So how improved do you think this pass rush will be? Top 20, top half, top quarter, top 10, top 5. Where do you think this pass rush will be?
Yeah, the D-line last year was pretty bad overall. They just couldn't put anything together. You had guys that I think are currently out of the league. Were starting for the Bears last year. The only guy they really brought back was Justin Jones, who I thought flashed a bit at times. But again, now he'll fall into his place. So
yeah,
they went from the worst pass rush. They went from the worst against the run. So like you said, they can't get any worse. They're going to get better. If these guys just improve to 20, 22 in that range, as far as stopping the run, as far as getting out the passer, it's going to help that secondary. And man, like I said, a lot of it these days, a lot of teams, the edge is important, obviously, but so many teams want that up the middle pressure. They want those big guys. And I mentioned Billings has a good push there.
Yeah,
a guy like Dexter, who, again, all indications is he's just a big, strong, fast dude. And he's like, 6'4", so he's got the size to kind of get in passing lanes. If Dexter can kind of become the guy they believe he is, and he really push that pocket and kind of, shut down the interior, that's going to open up so much stuff for the edges. And even though they don't have a legitimate speed threat off the edge, just having that push up the middle, it creates opportunities for other guys.
Yeah, and it could buy the guys who want to speed rush. It can get them that extra second or so, maybe even 1.5. And man, you know as well as I do, you get a quarterback to hold the ball for an extra second, God forbid, an extra second and a half. Man, that could be horrible for the offense's part. And I agree with you. I think that we're going to have some good pressure up front. If nothing else, just the fact where they can't step up. And that's important, because if you can't step up and you got to go around, go left to right, and we get some improved edge rushing, man, I'm telling you, this secondary is going to eat. This secondary is going to eat, and they're going to eat big time. Last question before we let you go. Eddie Jackson should be back at 100%. Talk to me about him. What kind of year do you think he's going to have? He started off last year well. He looked like the Eddie Jackson of his first couple of seasons. Big time playmaker before he got hurt. Now he's got, along with Jalen Johnson, he's got a Kyler Gordon who's no longer a rookie, who's earned his stripes and done better. He's got a Jaquan Briscoe who's no longer a rookie, who's earned his stripes and gotten much better. And because we know he likes to separate receiver from ball. He's got a new cornerback in Tyreek Stevenson, who most likely is going to win that job. He's got improved teammates. Talk to me about what kind of year you think he is going to have, especially with an improved pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson was on a Pro Bowl path a season ago. And it's funny because when training camp started, Coach Flus called him out a few times. He really went at him in the media a little bit. If you were at training camp, you heard him yelling at number 4 there on the field. He wasn't happy with some of the stuff he was, but really quickly, Eddie Jackson bought in. He bought into that hits philosophy pretty quick. And as the season went on, he not only got better as a football player, he became a team leader. And that's where he is right now. I mean, he is a veteran in that secondary. He will be back there, doing his thing, helping direct traffic. And I think he's in a good place because of the guy next to him with Brisker. It's a better fit schematically. They work well together. And you mentioned the talent at corner as well. So again, he's got to stay healthy. But man, I think a Pro Bowl type All-Pro season is in the cards for Eddie Jackson.
If he has an All-Pro season, even if it's second, if he gets that means that this secondary is eaten.
Yeah.
That means they're turning the ball over. That means we're getting shorter fields for Justin Fields. That means we're scoring a lot of points. Man, Lester, that sounds Charlie, I like it. I like it, man. I'm fired up about it. It's going to be interesting to see as it unravels. So we got another 3.5 weeks, maybe just about 4 weeks left before the report on the 25th. What you got going? What you talking about over on your platform? Because like I said, it's kind of the dead time, and unless there's a signing or something, or what do you got?
One of
going
our
over
guys,
there?
Bill Zimmerman, is running through his 10 Bears the most approved series right now. I'm going to kick off my 10 most important Bears of the season coming up here pretty soon. The stadium talk's all in the news again today. Now it's Aurora. It's all over the place. Lake Forest is in the mix. So I mean, like I said, there's always something going on with the Bears. We got it covered at Windy City Gridiron. You can follow me on Twitter at Will Fong JR. Of course, the podcast channel still popping, and then of course the video channel. We got stuff there as well at Second City Gridiron. So it's always something, man. It's always something with the Bears.
Mm-hmm. How are you thinking about those? What are you thinking about those negotiations now? Adding all these cities into the mix. Do you think it's all just conjecture, and it's really going to be Arlington Heights when it's all said and done, when the dust settles?
I think it just, from a logical standpoint, from the footprint there, it makes the most sense. They already have the property. I think they're just kind of holding off for the best deal possible. And that's kind of why Kevin Warren was brought in. He kind of did the same thing in Minnesota. They had a deal in place, and kind of, things kind of went around it, and they ended up going to a different location. But I think as far as the Bears, though, the new stadium, it just makes the most sense in Arlington Heights.
It does. Lester, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, man, you and I we could talk Bears for hours, dude.
All day.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, we'll be in touch soon, man. Bear down, and
sounds good.
We'll talk soon.
We'll talk. Bye.
Bye. Guys, that's Lester Will Fong Jr. from he's the editor-in-chief over at Windy City Gridiron, talking Bears. Man, got my fix again. Got the hair on my arms to stand up. Feeling good, baby. Feeling good. I'm excited. I am excited. Bear season is about a month away. I'm telling you, it's going to be one that you cannot or will not want to miss. Sam, what are we talking about here, Sam? What's up, Sam? How you doing, Papa? Eberflus has never had a dominant pass rusher or defense ranked higher than 18th in pressure percentages or 12th in sacks, yet they're always in the top 10 in takeaways. Pressure from the middle is it. You know what? All those things, I'm not sure the accuracy of those, and if they are accurate, okay, imagine if you do get pressure. Imagine if you do, and here's the great part that we talked about, is there's a lot of rotational pieces. Okay, these are young guys. They're trying to. When you get to the NFL, you're trying to get to your second contract. All right. You're trying to get to your second contract. So you have a lot of guys here who are trying to get to their second contract. And guys who get their second contract are trying to get to their last contract. Okay? Because you're really only going to get 3 for the most part. 3 contracts in all from PFF. Okay, cool. You're trying to get to your next, if you can get to your third contract, man, your life is going in a different direction than before you got drafted. You know what I mean? So you'll have generational wealth, as long as you invest it right and properly manage it. But that's what they're gonna, that's what they're doing. You're trying to get to your second contract, so the attitude, the edge is there. So that's why Cornelius says that's why I'm not worried for our edges as a lot of people. I'm not worried about them as much either, Cornelius. You know why? Here's why. I'll tell you about it on the other side of the break. I'll tell you why I'm not worried as much as other people are. Let's take a quick break, all right? On the other side, we'll finish up that conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JQuinnReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My future stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Urban. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoinreports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoin.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
June at OPS over 1,000. It's that on the ground and hard. Swanson gathers it in. 105.7, but it's an out. Chop to short. Ooh. Trey Turner, E6.
And it'll bring up Nico Horner.
Madrigal goes. The pitch outside. Throw to second base. Sails into center field. Madrigal on his way to third. And he'll get there standing up. 0 for 3. Ground ball, past a diving stop into right field for a base hit. Bellinger around 30's coming home. The throw cut off.
Welcome back. Oh, my goodness. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at Sports Zone Chicago. So I had the window open because it was a little cool. I like to sleep with it I have comfort. The way I sleep, I have 2 comforters, so I like it cool in here at night. So I sleep under 2 comforters. I get great sleep that way. So as you can hear, the landscapers are here. So I had the window open, and oh man, we're good before they come back again. But before we left, let's see. It was okay, Sam, please do me a favor. Do not blaspheme on here with that nonsense, please. Please don't blaspheme. Thank you, sir. I'd appreciate it. I think I'm trying to remember. See, remember, I played football for a long time with Junior, and I played for 30 years, so I'd be forgetting stuff sometimes. But when we left, Cornelius, you said you're not as worried about an edge pass rush as a lot of people, and I said I agree with you, and I believe that's where we were going when we had to go to break. Because, and here's why. One, Patty, you stop it. You stop it, little lady. Don't encourage that type of malarkey, all right? Don't do it. 26, okay. Yeah, that's a long time, dude. That's a long time. Here's why I'm not worried about it. With the pressure that we'll bring up top, and I'm not even saying we're going to have 15 sacks from the interior, from the 1 and 3 technique. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is this: it's going to be an upgrade. All right, it's going to be an upgrade. You're going to have youngsters who are we talked about getting to their next contract. You're going to have youngsters. They understand what this offense is going to be. They understand who Justin Fields is. They understand who DJ Moore is. They understand what the possibility of those guys playing together for the next few years can bring to this team in this city. They're going to be around for it. How do you stay around? You make plays. How do you get to your second contract? You make plays. I think the culture, and here we go back to that word again, the culture that's been set. There's competition every single day. Every day. In the NFL, in life, but in the NFL, there's competition every day. Here, I'm just talking about the Bears, and that's the way it should be. Okay? You may have a starting job sewn up, but guess what? They're bringing in a rookie to push you. They're bringing in a veteran to push you. Okay? That's the way you get better. That's the way you stay on top. That is the way you build an organization that's perennially in the playoffs and annually in the playoffs. See, the way he's constructed this team, this is the way they're going. This is it. Not, are they going to make the playoffs this year? How far are they going to go this year? And then next year, maybe you make that one big splash signing. All right, you sign the 1 3 tech, or you sign the 1 crazy edge. I mean, you might not even have to do it because of the draft. Next year's edge class is pretty damn good. Maybe if you get the best 3 tech and one of those edge rushers, guess what? Now you're cooking with gas. So I'm excited about the season, as I said. Yeah. Guys, we're going to talk more about this on Friday, but NASCAR is coming to Chicago. They've already started the blockage of the streets, the construction of the the construction of the course. It is it's causing craziness downtown. And here's the thing. Yesterday, Jimmy Johnson, the driver, Jimmy Johnson, not the former head coach, nor not my friend that I grew up with around the neighborhood. He's about 62nd in Washington. No, I lived on 62nd in Fairfield, block over. Anyway, 61st in Fairfield. Anyway, He's gonna skip it. He's gonna miss it. There was a tragedy at his home. Family. It was a murder suicide. So he's not going to participate in the Chicago race, and understandably so. Understandably so. But this is going to be something that's going to be really, really cool. This is something that's really going to put Chicago on. Not going to. Let me take that back. It's going to showcase the city. Anytime, I don't know about you guys, I love my city so much. Whenever we get a chance to showcase it, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, the skyline, as we know, is second to none. Okay, and to have this, it's going to be interesting to see, because you're going 100-something miles an hour and you got to make a turn. All right, so you're going to have to make a wide turn. So now everybody's got to get in the outside lane to turn. They're going down Columbus, and then so I think it's going to be pretty cool. Just another event to showcase Chicago. They have the infrastructure. We have the infrastructure. We can hold any event here. All right, which is why when the Super Bowl comes here, when we get that stadium, it's not a big deal. You saw how we held the NFL draft for two years in a row. That was with shitty weather. Man, at one time it was cold and rainy and cold, real cold. But it didn't stop the NFL. It didn't stop them from putting on a good show. It didn't stop the city from showing out. All right, with our restaurants, our hotels, our theaters, our bars, our rooftops, museum, everything we have here is first class. It's a first class city, the best city in the world, in my opinion. And we can handle. We revel in situations like this. Anytime where the world gets a chance to look at us and see what we're doing over here, it's great. I know we have our warts like any other city. Okay, but Chicago's just the best, hands down. Nothing more, nothing less. Hands down, the best city. So looking forward to, I'm really looking forward to seeing this whole thing take shape. And I don't think it's going to be an annual thing. Maybe every couple of years you might have it, or every other year, every 2 years or 3 years. It would be cool. But I would love to have gotten a test run on that track. I would love to be able just to. I know they have the media. I think let all the media just go down and just one lap. It's 2.1 miles. So let the media take one lap in a car. That would be dope. You're right, Sam. It is going to be good. The amount of things that you can do here in Chicago, second to none. Excuse me, second to none. It's going to be great. It's another thing for Summertime Shy. Another time, and look at today. I know we got the smog or the smoke from the Canadian fires. Hopefully they came through early and were able to get some pictures of Chicago, the skyline on a clear day. Because if you get Chicago, hell, Navy Pier, the Ferris wheel, the Sears Tower, John Hancock Center. Just think of how gorgeous. Look at. Oh, here it is. Look at how gorgeous the skyline is. Look, the skyline is amazing. Top class. Thank you, Junior. The restaurants here are second to none. Second to none. So it's going to be interesting. Just interesting to see. I want to see how it plays out. I want to see if it works. Because if it works, then it might become a more permanent thing every year, every other year, if it works. Of course, there's going to be a pain in the ass for traffic. But you know what? We'll deal with it. We will deal with it. So You know what? I didn't get to say hello to. For some reason, I screwed up my. There it is. Oh yeah. This one stinks. This thing it was a top of the morning topic, and I put it down. It was one of the first ones I did, so it was easy for I forgot it because it was so far down on my pictures list, and so let me. This is sad. This is really, really, really sad. When you get people who are young and they're gone way, way, way before their time, it man, it hurts. You know, being a former teacher and a coach, you know, you love the enthusiasm, the new perspective on life that kids have, younger people have. This one sucks. All right. This one sucks. Former NFL quarterback Ryan Mallett. All right. Has died at the age of 35. Died at the age of 35 due to a boating accident, a drowning accident. According to an article in Bleacher Report by Aaron Walsh, he died Tuesday from drowning at a beach in Destin, Florida. And this is from per Luke Matheson of the Deltaplex News. He was 35. Said first responders were called to the beach. And at 775 Gulf Shore Drive around 2:12 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday after a group of swimmers near a sandbar were struggling to get back to shore. Lifeguard pulled one of the individuals, later identified as Mallett, from under the water and said he wasn't breathing. So, yeah, he was the head coach at Whitehall High School in Arkansas. Remember, he went to the University of Michigan. I forgot who he backed up there. Chad Henne. There you go. He started at the University of Michigan in 2007 as a backup to Chad Henne, and then transferred to Arkansas and started 26 games at Arkansas between 2009 and 2010. Drafted by the Patriots in the third round of the 2011 draft. He played for a couple of different teams, but yeah. So our thoughts and prayers from Sports Zone Chicago go out to the family of Ryan Mallett. That's just tough. 35 years old. I sat and thought about, damn, where was I at 35? And you know what to think about that. 35 was 2006. Oh, okay, that's where we were winning our first championship or national championship with the Thunder. My second, because we won. Junior and I won a national championship in 1999 with the Chargers. But then I went on to win two more with the Thunder. 06 and then 08. So that's where I was at 35. Crazy. Guys, this is why I tell you. This is why I tell you after every show, enjoy your loved ones. Give them a big hug and kiss. Tell them you love ones. Spend time with them on weekends or during the day. Just give them a call, give them a text. You just never know. You just never know. So, yeah, that one hurts. Yeah, that hurts. You know, yeah. So there are tons of people who are going to have a free view of it. All right, you live in one of the high rises there, either on Roosevelt or on Michigan Avenue. You know, you're 10, 12 stories up, 15 stories up or higher. Man, you got a perfect view. I wonder how many places. Here's the real question. How many buildings over there are going to say no access, no roof access on Saturday because they don't want too many people on the roof? That would be dope. That would be dope. The Sears Tower, because that's the closest one. I'd only want to go up to like 50. Yeah, only make 50. Because if I'm too high, then it feels kind of like surreal, like it's not even there. You know what I mean? I don't want to be too close, but I want to be just high enough where I can see pretty much the whole track. and watch everyone go. And yeah, that'd be pretty dope for me. Damn. Well, listen, 2 hours is come and gone. Holy shnikes. I want to thank my guests. John Dietz today coming on talking Chicago Blackhawks with your boy. It's nice tonight. Connor Bedard gets picked with the number 1 overall pick. 17-year-old stud muffin is going to be playing with the Chicago Blackhawks this year. It's good to have that rebuild and get that stud, special kind of player to kind of recharge your franchise, or our franchise, I should say. And then Lester Wilfong Jr. from Windy City Gridiron coming on talking Bears football with me. It was fun as all get out. You guys know I love talking Bears. I could sit there and talk Bears till I blew in the face. And I'll still keep talking. But great. Thank you, guys. Lester, thank you. John Dietz, thank you. I know his voice was a little scratching, but I appreciate him being a gamer and coming through and making it happen. Listen, we're going to take a 45-hour break, all right? On the other side of the break, okay? We'll see you on Friday. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to 11 Central Standard Time. So for my guy Steve giving me all my clips, executive producer Elliot Baez, social media guy Clarence Council III, and my co-host in absentia, Maya Akai. Guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a phenomenal day. It's going to be nice. It's going to be warm. Warmer, a lot warmer. High 70s, low 80s. Is that where we're at today? Where we at? Holler at your boy. But it's going to be in the 80s the rest of the week. So enjoy it. Like I said, spend time with your loved ones. High of 83 today, 89 tomorrow, 87 Friday, 84 Saturday, 82 Sunday, 88 Monday, 90 Tuesday. So we're hitting the stretch. It's warm. If you can get out there, let's get a nice little walk with your loved ones. Have some fun. Enjoy each other's company. All right. Tell them you love them. Give them a big hug because you just never know. All right. Well, here's what I do know. It's time to roll. So again, sports owners, I appreciate the love, the support. Guys, you have a great day. Stay warm. Stay cool. It's going to be a hot one out there. We'll see you on Friday. Your boy, the SuperBack. I'm out. Deuces.